What is going on, everybody? I'm blessed to be bringing on right now one of the biggest stock risers in the country, Solo Ball. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good, man. But I guess, anyways, we can hop right into the interview. So this question, I like to start things off. I don't want to say on a weird note, but I always like to start my interviews off on just like a few random questions, maybe some things that are kind of away from the game of basketball a little bit. So, I know you posted on Instagram today, 2 hours ago. Yeah, a lot of tough flicks, of course, at EYBL in Orlando. And I think for me, even though I don't post too much on my Instagram, well, not on like my personal Instagram, like on my other one, I try to
Yeah.
post everything, but I'm not trying to come up with any cool, catchy like captions. However, when I listen to music, I'm always looking for captions. I think I'm a decent caption finder kind of guy. So I mean, of course, you come up with a caption and post on Instagram. So what was your inspiration behind that caption?
Um, I heard it from No Cap, and No Cap is my favorite rapper. One of my favorite rappers right now. So, and ESTG too. He's out of Louisville. Those are my two favorite rappers right now. Any lyric I like from one of their songs, I'm gonna put it in.
Yeah, I'm curious. Like, I feel like No Cap's more of like I think he's from Alabama. I think he's like a Southern
Yep.
guy. I mean, I consider where you live, Virginia, Maryland, almost. I mean, just because I live in Florida, I consider that like north. Even though I guess it's
Yeah.
still actually the South technically. I think going by region, but why is that a guy? You like his music a lot when he's more associated with the South.
I just like his flow really, and I'm also like a big fan of like any like Southern rappers too, like Key Glock too. He's from Memphis. Lil Baby, Georgia, Gunna, Atlanta, all them from Atlanta. So like Atlanta just runs the rap game and stuff like
Mhm.
that. So you just pull so much music from up there, and Chicago even, although that's up north, but
Yeah.
there's music everywhere.
So what about like Rod Wave? I don't know if I feel like he's like low key like a no cap kind of guy. I don't know.
Yeah, he got good. He got good captions. If you want to pull a caption from
Yeah.
him,
I feel like sometimes his are like low key kind of like sometimes kind of sad. Like I was going through like a heartbreak.
yeah,
I pull something, but I'm not trying to like the captions I always look for is like I try to find something that's like you're like I'm not trying to put a caption. Like if it's a caption where it's like I made out the mud like respectfully, it's not like
yeah,
like so I'm not gonna put that as a caption. But like I try to find stuff where it's more like kind of I kind of want you put if I was like playing basketball or like I had a lot of haters like that's like a valid caption. Like I try to find things that are like
yeah.
more like success. Like I guess you
Uh,
could yeah. So that's definitely what I try to do. But sticking to this whole caption thing, the pirate flag emoji, break that down. What's the point of having that in there? Because you're not a pirate, obviously.
of course not. I just really like that emoji for some reason. I just think of it as like headhunter. Every
Mhm.
time I see that, I think of headhunter and like man down kind of thing. So I just take it day by day kind of thing. It's like a hit list. Once you put one down, it's the flag is just there. Like that's how I just see it. I just see it as head hunting, and
Mhm.
day after day, just keep grinding, hit list, and just keep knocking players off that I'm trying to chase. The same things that they want and have. So
Mhm. Yeah, that emoji, definitely makes sense because like pirates kind of steal things, so
yeah.
that makes sense. But now this emoji is popular with your post, the ninja. Why
hmm
why the ninja?
The ninja, I'd say, is just for the ninja. I just seen it used a lot so much, and it just flows kind of. It's like undercover. You're undercover doing your business, basically. I mean, you can't see no ninja's face.
Yeah.
It's covered up and just undercover. You can't tell what they're doing. You can't tell their emotions. You can't tell like what they're going through at all. You just taking it like day by day, basically.
And finally, we're not gonna break down. I know you have like the lottery machine emoji. I feel like that one's
Yeah.
self-explanatory.
Oh yeah.
The spaceship emoji. Why do you have the spaceship emoji? It's in your bio. It's in a couple
Uh-huh.
couple captions. I think. Why that emoji?
That spaceship is for a little fan we made up with one of my friends, and he's real bouncy. His name Ralph. Shout out to Ralph. He ever turned this on, but he got mad bounce, and we just started this up. We're both from go to school out in county. He's out in my county too. But just he just started that up, and he was like, "Yo, you trying to be a part of this?" It's like hey, that sounds pretty wavy. Like I haven't seen anybody else do it, so why not? So we both got UFOs in our bio, so it's cool.
So what's the name of, like, the fam? Is it like UFO fam? Is it spaceship fam? Is it like aliens? What's the
Space
name?
fam, space
Space.
fam.
Oh, okay. So kind of like says
Yeah,
space fam is like space fam.
yeah, yep.
Yeah. So what's the requirements? Like if I want to get in space fam, what do I have to do to get on that?
I mean, it's kind of like floating, basically. You notice somebody floating in there, you just think, oh yeah, they gotta be in space fam. Like someone who's man, I couldn't even give an example, but like just people natural floaters, like and it could be like lanky floaters, like Ralph, he's 6'7", but he's like floating like crazy. Like
Mhm.
I'm 6'3", but like I'm a lanky floater because like I'm just up in the air too much. I got like 6'10" wingspan, so it's like I'm
Yeah.
stretching too. So I guess that has to do with it for sure.
So I like how serious of a fam is this? Is this like something where you're trying to make merchandise for in the future? Is this more just like
Oh nah,
like,
it's just for
like,
fun, really.
all
Yeah,
right.
it's just for fun. Yeah, we just had it. I just keep it in there. It's pretty cool. So I was like, let's stick with it. You never know.
Yeah. Well, I guess anyways, we kind of hop right into this. We gotta really speak about EYBL. Like that's probably might be majority of this interview. But first things first, actually, we're gonna start off on this note. This is a question I was like, yo, let me ask you this before the interview. You know what? I'll ask you now. Are you? I don't know if it's because I feel like we talked about this. Your name being solo ball it was low-key kind of hard. Like I had to put solo ball basketball in order to find like you because if I put solo ball, it's like a bunch of just like balls like things.
Yeah, like
So
workouts and
I have to
stuff.
like so I have to do a little like just a second more research to find like your height and everything. But are you like are you even ranked? Because I don't think I saw you ranked anywhere like on like 24/7 Rivals, ESPN. So
Yeah,
are you ranked?
I'm unranked. I'm
Yeah.
unranked. I'm an unranked player. At least from October 2021, I was like 40 something for like shooting guards in the country, but like I never paid attention to it. I didn't look at that until it was like maybe early March because someone had sent it to me. It was like, oh, you're 3-star, like fuck, like 40th in the country. Like, oh, okay. So I was like,
Yeah. So obviously, like that's kind of a surprise now. I guess. So I'm curious, like coming to EYBL, was that session one for you? Was that almost like your coming out party? Was that the best you ever played? Like, was that the first time people were really able to see you play, or how come you think you're starting to get national attention now compared to before?
I think it's because the level I'm playing at, and I'm still able to do what I can do. Like I've been doing this through high school my whole time too, and I play a lot different from when I do with Melo than my high school team because like I honestly I have to be a primary scorer, and right now I'm like a really good and elite secondary scorer that can like offensive rebound, hustle plays, all that. I still hustle and everything with my high school team. It's just a little different because I'm a primary scorer too.
Hmm. And I think what's kind of special about you too. I mean, you mentioned being in the space fam. It's just like there's certain players where honestly, even if you played like not like nowhere near as good as you did in session one. You just kind of have that the NBA style body, the NBA type of speed, athleticism. Like you kind of have a lot of as NBA upside, you could say. And so I feel like with a lot of teams and coaches, like that's probably what they're gonna like about your game the most. Which you kind of agree with that you have a lot of NBA potential because it's one thing to be good in high school and be good in college, but like being an NBA player, like you could almost like you could be like maybe the 11th best player, not even the top 10 best players in college basketball. You just have that NBA certain style of play. So would you say you kind of have that
Mm.
NBA style of play to you?
I think I would. I think it's a long ways away, but I think I just keep working and hopefully that ends up like being the case. But I think it takes reps on reps for that, and I'm just scratching the surface with all these college teams anyway. So it's just step by step, really.
Mhm. Uh, this is like a basic question, but it's something that I like to hear from certain players. Like I feel like there was a guy I don't know if you know Kanan Carlisle plays on TSF. I remember watching him play during this season. I love watching him play. I mean, He's an elite scorer. He's kind of athletic. He has that NBA style of play, I would say, too. They asked him, like, yo, like, what are your player comps? He's like, people say I'm like a John Morant, Bradley Beal kind of thing. And I don't know. I feel like you guys are low key kind of similar. So I'm just kind of curious what your player comp would be.
I've been told Johnny Davis. I've been told Bradley Beal and John Morant as well.
Okay, so there you go. Yo, that makes me feel good. It means I know what I'm talking about a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. I actually grew up watching Bradley Beal too, so I still watch him all the time. I watch John Morant all the time too, and I also watch DeMar DeRozan and Chris Paul.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, is the Bradley Beal thing just because he was like on the Wizards, or was that a guy like you liked maybe before then, or like you would have regardless?
That was the guy I really liked before, and when I was younger on one of my like first AAU teams I played for called Severn United out of Maryland. There was one of my friend's dad who used to call me like Bradley Beal Jr. and all that because I still like played smack like Bradley Beal. So I mean, I just stuck with it. I've just been watching him since, and like now that I look back at it, like I really play like this too. Like,
yeah, and now really going to EYBL, I feel like what you said like almost describes the importance of EYBL because it just shows if you could do what like because in high school every EYBL player is probably like a bucket dropping like 20 a game, like whether
yeah,
the starter on the bench. But then it's like you go to EYBL and that's when you see like are these skills legit versus or
yeah.
is this guy more just good versus bad competition? So what was it like for you to go up against the best of the best competition and show like you can dominate, whenever pretty much. It's not just because you're playing versus bad players.
I've really been working for this and waiting on this my whole time. This whole summer since I played last year, I've just been waiting, just headhunting, waiting for people to get back on the circuit and just I don't have I wouldn't say I have anything to like I don't have to prove people wrong, but I'm just proving myself right and proving the work that I put in right. Because I've been putting in a lot of work for what I've been trying to earn and I'm just not done.
Yeah. So what happened? Because you said you're doing this during the high school season, whatever. But what happened during last year's AAU season? Like, were you like not as good? Like, how come like last season you weren't getting as much attention on EYBL as you are this year?
I had a different role on the team. I was with Team Takeover 17U, URBL. So I was like Justin Taylor, Doug McDaniel,
Yeah.
Christian May, list goes on. I was with those dudes, and I had a different role. Like my role on that team was I was still like guard the best player and stuff, but it would most of the time be a guard, and a lot of people didn't think I could guard bigs. But I've put in a lot of work in the weight room too, and it's just paid off really. And also like I was a little restricted where I would just be like catch and shoot threes, pull ups, sometimes get in the lane like transition, but that's also like part of the like reason why I just felt like I should go to a team where like I can like really play my game, and I knew what I was capable of.
Yeah. I'm curious though. Like you say, I guess I'm assuming Team Mello is like the better fit. However, getting that 17U experience where you're definitely, probably not the best player on that team, as you're a little younger. When you're playing against, these are the pinnacle, these are the best players on EYBL is that 17U level when you were younger. So do you think though that, technically being 16U or playing 17U actually helped you a lot to get you to where you are today?
It definitely helped. You get to see it was a big difference between 16U and 17U last year. You could tell by like the size difference. And like there's actual like real bigs when you go into 17U. And I think that's a big difference. You adjust to like the speed of the game is still a lot different. The game with 17U is much faster and people are much stronger. So I think it's definitely helped a lot, and I've just been used to it. I kind of feel like a vet in a way.
Mm-hmm. So I want to talk about the mentality you mentioned a couple questions earlier. You said it's not like you're proving yourself to people. Like, it's not like you're playing to use someone to prove, but you said it's like you're proving yourself. And I'm curious. Like I try to play devil's advocate a little bit. Like for a guy like you, I don't know why you like have that mentality compared to the one where it's like I'm trying to show people I could play, because obviously the people didn't know how good you are, I guess. Like you mentioned, you're not ranked. All of a sudden now you get like a big boost and is getting tons of Division I offers. So how come you were trying to prove that to yourself that you're good instead of proving it to, the outside world that you're good?
I know a lot of people don't know what work I put in and like the input I do to get the output, but I think that's definitely a big part of why I'm a prove myself right guy. I've always been the one with the chip on my shoulder wherever I go, really. I've always been the smallest guy. I mean, it's not the case now, but I mean, when I was 15, I was 5'4" with like 115 pounds. Like I was really small, and I just grew into my body. A lot of people doubted me and stuff. Like I knew what work I put in, and I knew like over time, like everything was going to fall into place. It was just a matter of time, like, how much work I put in.
Yeah, so you head to EYBL, session one, game one. I mean, kind of take us through that game. Who's that against, and what if you really did to like just set that tone that you're going to be one of those top players on the circuit?
Our first game was against City Rocks, and it went down to the wire. And
Yeah,
it was a morning game. It went down to the wire. We hit a lot of tough shots to get back in the game. We were actually down 5 with 8 seconds left, and ended up Zay hit a big time shot, send it to overtime, and we were able to pull through in that game. And I think I performed like pretty well. I didn't show everything. But I had 23 points, but I didn't show everything I could do. And then I think the next game and following into the next day too, like just put me on the map in the way. But I'm still like looking forward to just winning and getting hopefully 8-0 after this weekend too.
yeah. And the game that I watched you play against, which I'm glad I was there. I was almost like I wanted to keep it real. Like I obviously didn't know every single player that was playing EYBL, but there were some players I knew more than others, and some teams I knew more players than others. And it was the final game, of the whole thing, and I'm like, you know what? I like the guy with the really hard name I can't pronounce from Team Heroes. Well, you know what? I'll watch him again.
Mm-hmm.
And I've never seen Team Elo yet, so I got to see a new team. And to my surprise, I was like, damn, like, this kid could really hoop. So I guess in that game, that was a big game too because both teams were 3-0. What did it really show about Team Mello to win that game? Because now you guys are 4-0. You beat another undefeated team. Like that was honestly one of the bigger games of the tournament, I guess, or of the session, I guess, of two 3-0 teams. So what that game is really showcased about Team Mello.
Well, that game, I'd say it was a dogfight. We had to end up. Had the goal of going 4-0, and we thought that there was going to be no one stopping us from getting that goal, and we didn't let anyone literally stop us from that goal. I had the assignment of guarding that dude. He's really talented, but I had the assignment to guard him, and I was able to hold him to four for 19. So I mean, I just tried to stay locked in the whole game. At first, we started off really slow, and I was like, yeah, we got to turn it up. I said, let me guard him too, and I just ended up guarding him the whole game. And whenever he posted up, just fronted him, and it was hard for him to get the ball or hard for him to like rebound or anything. So I just tried to make his life difficult.
Mm-hmm. And now EYBL, so that ends the session one. How crazy did? Well, I'm assuming your life's obviously not like completely changed. Like, I feel like it's still kind of similar to the way it was before that session, but obviously things are getting a lot more different. Talking to a lot more college coaches. I mean, I think you've received like at least over like 5 offers in the past week. And there's only 7 days in a week, so that's basically like one offer a day, pretty much, if you do the math that way. So how different do you think your life's kind of been since session one's been over?
I'd say it's been the same. I've actually been trying to work even harder, and like after I got it, just kept running day after day, and I was like, man, like everything's paying off, but like I still have way more to do. I have much more in the tank. Like a lot of people haven't seen me before, and picking up those 7 were really big for me. But I'm just ready to keep it going. We got 3 more sessions. One session isn't good enough. Like, I just got to stick with what I've been set the goal for before. With like a big word for me, this EYBL session, like all of them, is consistency. And a lot of coaches weren't able to see me be consistent throughout a whole season. Like when I was with my high school team. I was hurt for 12 games. I had fractured my thumb and like tore a bunch of ligaments in it, but I didn't need surgery or anything. But like I was out for a little bit, and I was bummed out I couldn't play. But a lot of coaches hadn't seen me play, and I was able to just get back and get back into my groove. And now I'm in EYBL trying to get everything I deserve and been working for.
Yeah. So has it at all been an adjustment though? Even though you said your life's kind of the same, would you say there was at all any sort of adjustment where, at least during that, like that's like a busy week for you having all those phone calls? Was something you needed, getting a little more social media attention, getting named, first team all EYBL for session one? Was that something you kind of had to adjust to in a way? Now getting a lot of attention is coming all at you all at once.
It's definitely something to adjust to. Sometimes I'll go on like periods throughout the day where I just don't touch my phone and I'm just focused on stuff outside of basketball sometimes. And like once we get in the morning or after school, then like I'm back into my zone really. I'm just trying to work, work, work. After school, like I lift every day, I shoot every day, I dribble every day. Like I've just been trying to put in even more work. So I think it's just a good motivator.
Random question, but it's kind of popped in my head. Do you think, since we were sticking to like talking about attention, and you mentioned the Space Fam thing, so you obviously got some bounce, which adds, I feel like, to some viral potential. Do you think that by the end of EYBL, because I feel like 10K is like a threshold of Instagram followers, you get the K next to your amount of followers, there's a chance that you will be able to hit over 10K or 10K or more followers by the end of EYBL?
To be honest, I don't even
Like,
know, but at the same time, I don't know if I really care too much. I
yeah, I know.
just
Like
keep
I know it's not
playing.
a goal. Like I know it's not a goal, but
Yeah,
if you have a viral dunk, even if you're not like blowing, even if you don't even tell anybody it happened, like ESPN, they're all gonna post it. So even if you like don't tell people to follow you on Instagram, the amount of people that are gonna like be tagging you and everything is gonna get you to that level. Like I feel like there's a good amount of quiet players that don't talk to anybody and somehow have
yeah.
like a bunch of followers because they're just buckets. So I mean, you think you have a chance of get into that level?
I mean, I was thinking like maybe 3.5. I'm at 3,000 right now. I'd say like 3.5, but I mean, whatever happens, happens. I mean, that's never even hit my head to be honest with you. I never thought about that.
Yeah, because I think I think it could happen, and then eventually, like I don't want to get too excited, but I'm assuming, well, even if you probably don't get any more followers, I think verification that has to come soon whenever you commit. That like happens to everybody, which I think is kind of cool. But I said it's not even like a follower thing. It's more just like, are you a legit person almost? And if you're committed to college, they usually verify you anyways. But turning on this almost end of EYBL session one theme. Um, so you played, four teams, obviously. You have Indiana coming up on Friday through Sunday. Is there a team that you guys, really want to face, or a team that maybe you played during session one that you want to play again?
Team that we want to play again, probably Team Durant. I want to play Team Durant again for sure. That was a dog fight, but I think that's just a DMV battle. I definitely want to play them again. I want to play every uh 4-0 team and just prove why we're the top 4-0 team and one of them like up there. And a lot of people have us like as the last like sixth best EYBL team, and there's 6 4-0 teams. So they have us as like the lowest 4-0 team, and I just think that we have so much more to prove to people, and a lot of people just haven't seen our team. Like there hasn't been no cameraman like that, like no slam, no
Yo,
anything.
yo, yo,
We're a
yo, yo.
really low key
I
team.
was there. I was there.
Yeah, but I mean, there's no like
Come on,
slam,
come on,
no ESPN. So
yo.
like we're just low key, and I like it. I like it that way. I like being the underdog and just proving like our work right.
Why do you think you guys are such? Because I mean, again, I really didn't know. Well, there was actually a few players on our team that like I reached out. Like there was one guy, I forgot his name. I think it might have been Isaiah Coleman. But I think I reached out
Hmm
to him like over a year ago to do an interview with me. He never responded, but it's all good. We're not gonna. But other than that, like there weren't too many like players on your team where I'm like, oh, this guy is like famous or whatever. Like, well, why do you think your overall team, besides yourself, like why do you guys just fly so much under the radar?
I think we fly under the radar because we only have one 4-star, and that's Isaiah, and he's a bucket. He's been like going off anytime he can, and I think us only having like one person with stars next to their name, that's what puts us under the radar. But we've been putting in a lot of practice time and a lot of work with each other. So we're just building chemistry by the day. And we go on Zooms throughout the week. Like a lot of teams don't even practice together. And we're doing Zooms throughout the week and practicing on the weekend. So we get in a lot of time. And I think it's working off the court as much on the court too.
So then what like do you think it's coincidence that your team is so good when you only got like one 4-star, or how come they were able to just find like every single good player that isn't known pretty much in like the surrounding areas? Like how did that all happen?
I'd say that our coach is really good with pulling people together with like fit wise. Like we all fit like his play style, and we can all play with one another. With our play styles, really, they just match with one another, and we're able to like mix up different lineups and stuff and still be successful. I think that's what separates us.
For sure. And now heading into the recruitment process, so I guess your most recent offers were from George Mason, Illinois, and Providence. What sorts of schools been showing you some recent interest that haven't offered you yet?
That haven't offered me yet. Tennessee, Villanova, UCF. Um, who else? Marquette, UVA. UVA is supposed to come see me in Indiana, or Coach Tony Bennett is supposed to come see me in Indiana. Um, there's more. I just can't think of like off the top of my head.
Yeah, is that? I mean, it was crazy for me to see Coach Tony Bennett in person. Obviously, he wasn't like I didn't speak to him. He wasn't there to like see me or anything. But
Hmm.
at your games, well, I feel like every game actually had a good amount of coaches, but knowing like this guy is gonna be there at your game. I don't know like if during session one coaches were hitting you up before saying I'm going to your game, but now knowing
Oh
you got
yeah.
like Virginia and stuff like that, people coming to your games. Just what does that mean to you?
It definitely means a lot, and I know they're coming to see other players too. So I can't get it in my head that they're only coming to see me, because there's 10 players on that court that could get the same opportunity as me if I don't like bust my butt trying to just grind for everything and get every loose ball. Um, Even if my shot's not falling, I got to just do other things. But yeah, I think that's what it is really.
Do you at all have like, or I'm assuming had a dream school that you liked watching growing up when you were a kid?
I never really had a dream school. I just wanted to go D1. I didn't even think it would happen when I was younger, since I was so small. But I just wanted to be D1.
Yeah. What about like, was there gonna be any sort of get like, did you ever imagine playing like what was gonna be your dream? Is your dream game like national championship kind of thing? Is your dream game like upset in a tournament? Is it a Duke Carolina game like a rivalry? Which game is like your dream scenario to play in at that next level?
I'd probably say a sold out crowd in like March Madness. That would be big time. Or even a sold out crowd in the high school game. I've never played in all the high schools I've been to are really small, like 250 people, stuff like that, 300 people.
That's crazy.
So I've never really, yeah, it's just really
That's nuts,
small.
bro.
Yeah. And I know you're not used to it since you go to like school in Florida and stuff, but like,
Yeah, bro,
yeah,
about 250 kids, like that's like, bro, my grade has like 1,200 kids.
exactly.
That's crazy, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro, I can't even like, I can't really fathom that. But I guess it's kind of cool. Like, I think it's cool though going to a small school because it's like, even if you don't like, even if not everyone's your friend, at least like everybody, and
For sure.
I'm sure you gotta figure out a way to deal with them too. So even if you don't get along with them, you just gotta kind of gotta figure it out. I feel like instead of having like at my school is a bunch tons of kids I don't know, and I only have like a close friends. But then it's like at a school that much, it's almost like everyone's your friend in a way.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much. It's a tight knit community for sure.
What do you think is going to be like for you coming back into the high school basketball scene? You think you're going to maybe when you go on the road be in some hostile environments now that people like you really want to play you? Like, do you think you're really going to have a huge target on your back heading into this high school season?
I even had a target in my back during this high school season. So, I mean, we play in a conference with schools with like who have like a lot of students and stuff. Like our playoff game, our first playoff game, it was packed and it was away, and we had to deal with them. I mean, it was a great game, but I think we just didn't have enough energy. We ended up losing, but and it's definitely gonna be a target on our backs for sure.
Yeah. Is there at all like I guess a team or a certain player that you'd want to match up with, whether it's on EYBL, you're like, oh, like I want to guard like DJ Wagner or something like that, or if it's in high school, like I want to play DeMatha or Gonzaga or something.
No, I just want to play the best. It doesn't matter like specifically who. I just want to play the best all the time, and I think that's just where I just continually just stick. I'm gonna just stick with this, like just prove myself right in all the work I put in.
Yeah. Well, I'm curious for you. How do you think you're going to handle? Because as long as you kind of keep doing what you're doing, you're on a path for like a lot of big things coming your way. Like I would even say, I mean, if yours is like always going to be all EYBL first team after every session, I would assume you're going to get offers from all the Kentuckys, the Villanovas, Duke, all that stuff, North Carolina. Like that's probably all going to come if you just keep doing what you're doing. So how do you think you're going to consistently have that mentality of I'm trying to prove to myself that like I'm valid or I'm coming for heads when by the end of the EYBL season you might be like a 4 or 5 star.
Um, I think that's what motivates me every day. I don't care about the stars. I don't care about what how many stars somebody has. I don't care about what offers they have. I mean, I have good offers now, but I just never cared about that. I've always been the other underdog, and I think when I wake up with that mentality, just walk into any gym and just kill every day. I think that's just what's gonna motivate me and just push me to be the best player I can be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. I had a fire question, I think, but we're just gonna move on to the next question. So I see you've taken, a few visits. I'm assuming you're trying to line up more. You don't need to say like what schools you're planning on visiting, but I guess how are you gonna balance that out with your schedule of focusing on EYBL? Like, is it gonna? You think you're gonna almost have like a rock star life kind of schedule where it's like you're going from Indiana, and the next week you got to travel to whatever school, and then the next you go someplace else, or what do you think you're going to do in terms of taking visits? Or are you maybe going to hold that off till EYBL is done and maybe in like September-ish time, like take your visits and stuff?
I might go in August, but I might go like during our. We have a big break. You know how there's a big break in between the session, like session 3 and session 4, or like what was it? No, session 4 and Peace Jam. There's a big gap, so I'll probably just go within that. And yeah, that's all I'm thinking really, if that was the case. But I've just been so locked in on EYBL that I haven't even thought about them really.
Yeah. Well, what just like why? Cause I feel like AAU basketball for me. I said this in my last interview. I interviewed a kid from Okan Elite.
Hmm.
I was talking to him like my opinion. Like I love high school basketball more than AAU basketball. Like EYBL is a little different, but overall the amount of AAU basketball just sucks. Like definitely makes high school basketball a lot better. Just what makes EYBL so important to you? Because I feel like high school basketball, it's like you're representing a school, a community. There's coaches' jobs that are kind of at stake in a way. Like you got your teammates that you grew up with, they're going to elementary school, middle school, high school with. I think there's a lot more meaning behind high school basketball. So why does EYBL just mean so much to you?
It means a lot to me because I've always wanted to play against the best all the time and just play with the best. And when you're around top dudes every day in like every tournament, really, you're gonna turn into one of them. Like you can't be hanging around wolves and like not come out a wolf of your own. Like I feel like that's just how it is. When you're surrounded by people that can make you better, you're gonna get better too. And that's a big thing with EIBL where I can show off my game.
Mhm. And in our interview at UIBL, our like minute or two interview, I realized actually, so I thought Team Ella was like brand new. These guys actually aren't brand new, but I don't think you guys I would say are like one of the legendary UIBL programs. Like I would say the ones that are like never gonna leave, like the Oakland Soldiers, Mac Irvin Fire, um, Team Durant. Just to name a few. Like there's like a few UIBL programs that are just like solidified. Like they're gonna be there. They're like UIBL like classic teams. I would say Team Mello's like one that isn't one of those classic UIBL teams. So what's it like for you and your team to almost try to build a legacy for Team Mello to make them like an UIBL classic team?
I think we're definitely on a run with the 15U teams, 16U teams that we have. We're definitely on a run to be those top dogs. And like we just got so many age groups of younger kids from that Baltimore area that just are dogs and they want to play top comp and they want to prove themselves. And I think when you're hungry and starving and you just want everything that you ever dreamed of, that's what separates Team Mello from a lot of teams. And like you said, they haven't had like a real history of winning, but like we're gonna turn that around these next couple years or several years. It's definitely gonna be Team Mello up there.
And Team Mello, obviously, like everyone knows that pretty much stands for Carmelo Anthony. Is that a guy that you've been able to at all? I don't know if you have have you had the opportunity to speak to him ever since you do play for his program?
Yeah, he texted me after our Team Durant game, and he was like, "Yeah, way to kill them, blah blah blah. Like just keep going, keep leading." And like he's watching, and he just told me that, and I was like, well wow." But it was a little weird. My coach texted me. He was like, "Yeah, you gonna get a call or a text from a weird number. Answer the phone." So I was like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah. Did he end up calling or texting you?
He texted me. Yeah, he
Yeah.
ended up texting me.
Was that was that one of the cooler experiences you've had that are like basketball related, or something even cooler happened besides that?
I think having his number is probably the coolest. Definitely.
Yeah. No, it's definitely definitely sick for sure. Do you try to show like your friends sometimes? Like is that something you're gonna use, you think, in the future? If you're doing like a two truths and a lie kind of thing, and you're like, oh, I have Carmelo Anthony's number, and everyone's like, oh, that's a lie. And then you're like, nah, like, is that gonna be something you're gonna use for that maybe?
Nah, I'm probably just asking for advice and stuff. If anything, I probably wouldn't use it for that. I don't like rubbing stuff in people's faces. I just go about my business, really.
Yeah. I'm curious too, like we mentioned the player comps, and he's obviously not a guy that I would say is your player comp. Like you never brought up his name. So what's it like, I guess, how is that playing under his program? Like I feel like Team Hero, all the guys are shooters. Like Tyler Hero's a shooter, so it kind of like made sense. What's it like not being, like a carbon copy of Carmelo Anthony, but playing for his program?
Um, Carbon cop. I just say grit and toughness. Like everyone has that grit and toughness and will to win with Team Mello. I haven't seen it. There's no softies. There's definitely no softies. Any age group, everybody wants smoke, and that's probably what I'd say ours is.
Mhm. And you're not from Baltimore, right?
No, but my parents are. Both of my parents are.
Okay, so like is that kind of where you associate yourself with like where do you think you kind of have your culture from? I'm like a South Florida guy, so like I wouldn't say I'm like the biggest Kodak fan, but like like I'm always gonna like stick with that guy. That's like as a South Florida, so what kind of like, are you like a Virginia guy, are you like a DMV guy, or like a Baltimore guy? What's like your area like to represent?
I'm a DMV guy. I say I'm a DMV guy. Like I'm not from Baltimore. I'm just yeah. All my family's out there, but my mom's whole side of the family's out there. I'm always up in Baltimore, but I'm not from there. I'm like real big, and I just like the area. I'm cool with the area for sure. All my family's
Mhm.
up there,
would,
so there's
would you
nothing
say
wrong with it.
there's yeah, yeah. Um, would you say that there's a difference between DMV Hoopers and Baltimore Hoopers?
There's definitely a difference. There is a big difference, I say, because I would just say it's different. Even like lifestyle is even different. Like you could tell the difference between someone who's from the DMV and someone from Baltimore. Like they just act different.
Mhm. Um, I guess for you, kind of being a DMV more guy on a Baltimore team, how do you think you guys are able to like? I mean, of course, it's not like there's like bad blood, like oh we hate you from the DMV, like that. But just maybe styles of play, the way you guys are, how are you really able to gel with your teammates when Team Mellow is like a team I think it's like based in Baltimore.
So we're a team that's based in Baltimore, but we don't have like a lot of Baltimore guys. Like we might only have one, but we have people from all over. Like you have a dude from Michigan named Rob, and we got people from my area, Virginia. We got people from like Howard County, Maryland. Like it's all over really. And so like when we could just sit down in one spot and a team that's welcoming and a player with that much history behind him, like there's no way you wouldn't want to play on Team Mellow.
For sure. And looking into the future now, you got your senior year of high school coming up. You're ending out your final year playing AU basketball. What sorts of things do you want to accomplish?
Um, I want to. I'm not gonna stop until I'm holding the peach and the trophy. That's my goal for this summer for sure, and everything else. Hopefully, everything else just falls into place with what I've been working on. But that's the main goal.
So how come like a lot of players would be like I want to be all EYBL first team, or I want to get 20 offers, or I want to be ranked a 5-star. How come for you the main priority was winning?
I just love the feeling of winning, and I didn't get to experience that feeling in high school, and I just want to get it back for everything I've been working on.
Mm-hmm.
And everything else will fall into place when we're winning too. So that's when you're winning, you're not you're not stat chasing. You're winning because you have the will to win, and you're gonna do anything you can to win.
Yeah, for sure. I want to jump this really quick because this guy he actually asked me. He actually asked a handful of good questions. We actually got a live question for you. I always don't know how to say his name, but it's like Kirk in World. Like I don't know how he says his name, but that's kind of how he spells it. And his question for you is he wants to know how you take your recovery. He says ask him how he takes his recovery, stretching, flexibility, and all that, and how he got his 2 foot bounce so high. That was his question for you.
Well, recovery and all of that. I stretch every day. I stretch before I work out. I stretch after I work out. And ice is definitely a big part. I do a lot of icing. I do a lot of heat before games. I use a lot of Tiger Balm. Like if I'm feeling sore and I need my like stuff to loosen up, then I'll put on
Yeah.
Tiger Balm. Yeah. And I think that's just and also like traditional basically or ritually, I just take a half a 5 hour energy before a game and then I'll pass the other half to Zay. That's what we've been doing for a while. So yeah, so it just keeps my muscles fired up.
Mm-hmm. Man, yeah, that's Tiger Bomb thing. I've had one experience with that. I think it's crazy.
Oh
I,
yeah, it works miracles.
I don't want to go too deep, but like I had, I tried out Tiger Bomb one evening. I guess we could say that was definitely like pretty cool. Did you mention like about how I guess your balance is like super good too off 2 feet?
Well, my bounce off too. Part of it came genetic. I mean, my mom played volleyball. My dad was pretty athletic. Like he was like 5'6", tough, like grabbing rim and stuff like that. But also, it's just my trainer. My trainer, out in Frederick, his name's John Gardner, and he worked on me like straight explosive stuff, and some of it free weight, some with weight, and I'm just jumping constantly, or I'm just doing squats, and I think yeah, that's what really catapulted my balance. I went from having a 27 running jump, uh, I think 2 years ago, to now I have a 45.
Yeah, that's definitely. No, I'm nowhere near as athletic. Uh, that's definitely nuts for sure. And then I guess a couple more questions before we end this interview. The one, you know, it's kind of a good final question for thinking away. So when you're in the game of basketball, whether you become, you quit tomorrow because you hate basketball, or you end up becoming the best basketball player of all time, what do you want your legacy to be like?
I want people to remember me as a person just as much as I am on the court, and I think I want people to recognize me to be that dog and have that will to win, and just you know that I will always be there trying to do my best in everything I do.
Oh, well, anyways, man, that's all the questions I got for you. We actually had a couple traditions we got to do, and then we could, officially get in the interview. So first things first, I've been doing this now for a handful of interviews. I'm going to stop saying I'm going to do this for a handful of interviews probably after this one, because then it's been enough for me to say this is like a consistent tradition. But basically, after each interview, we both got to put you on the spot. We both got to summarize the interview in one word. So I'm going to go first. You're going to go second. This one I kind of came up with, in the beginning. So my word, I'm going to go with excited, because one, I was pretty excited to interview you. I was also excited when I was in EBL, and also I'm just really excited, to see just how much more big time you get. Like I said, 10K, like I know it's not a big deal for you. Like it's not going to get you like any better or worse at basketball, the followers you have, but I could just see you blowing up, or even blowing up even more than you already have in this past couple of weeks. So as you can say, I'm just really excited to see, how good you turn out as a basketball player. I guess would be my word.
Appreciate it. That's a good word though. Mine, um, I guess it goes hand in hand. I'd probably say self confidence, and I'm like
Like
just able to um, speak on my game and just what my mindset is throughout every day and stuff like that, and how I'm able to just talk to you and stuff like easy. It's just an easy conversation. I'm just able to um, just believe in myself and what I'm capable of doing and what I've been working on for years.
Yep. I would say I don't know if you're like really smart, like good at language arts, but I would say you're a pretty good like you sound kind of like an NBA player that's speaking. You're good at
Mm,
like talking professionally, I guess I would say.
appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem, man. Then another tradition. This one's special just for certain players. Back to the Instagram thing actually. So whenever a player has a number in their Instagram, I always gotta ask about it. You have the number 1. I think for Team L you were number 5 though. So what's with the number 1? Was it just because like you just put it there because like you needed to put it to get solo ball and that solo ball was taken, so you need to add the 1, or how come you have 1
Yep.
thing?
For my username, that was because solo ball was taken. I was trying to get solo, but there's some European company with it or something like that. I was trying to get solo, but it didn't end up working. So I just solo ball one. There's only one solo ball, so I just stuck with it. But like I in high school ball, I wore my the number 1 for my friend Sid, who passed away from bone cancer, and he wore that exact jersey and stuff. And his he had something on the wall up in our gym, and I just remember that every day. I pray before every game and just point up in the sky, think about him.
Mm.
But like I wear number 5. I even have 5 tattooed on my chest for it represents everyone in my family outside of me. That's my main number.
Damn, but yeah, definitely two. One, sorry about your friend. Also, definitely fire reason to wear the number 5. I do want to ask. I wasn't planning on asking any more questions, but I'm curious. Like playing in, your friends like jersey. Do you think that like what does that mean to you? Kind of knowing like someone else that's like legend to you. What like that same exact jersey now, kind of you're the one playing in it. What does that mean?
At first, I wasn't thinking about it. I was just gonna put on number 5 and just keep his jersey just fresh, and that was my idea at first. But we had so many players that there was no extra jersey. I was the only one who knew him, like like this at least, and I just wanted to wear his jersey, represent him, and just like play. I think it just motivated me to just play all out. And whenever I look down at my jersey, I'm like, yeah, this he would have loved to be playing in this jersey right now, and I gotta fill his shoes, basically.
Definitely. Well, anyways, man, again, really, really appreciate you for your time. Definitely an honor to be talking to you. I feel like, just how I mentioned excited as my word. I'm excited because I feel like sometimes my interviews are like, investments. Like I interview a player and then I just kind of track them and see like, how big the player gets. It's like, put my money in a stock and your stock's definitely rising. So I think it's going to be cool when, I can hopefully say in the future, like, I interviewed this guy, when he was in high school and whatever. So, definitely excited to see just the rest of the future of your basketball career. Very excited to see just how good you do. on EYBL and in high school and everything, especially at the next level. But anyways, man, make sure you guys give us both a follow on Instagram. His is at SoloBall1, and mine's at iHoopsFL. And anyways, for St. James High School and Team Mellow, Combo Guard, Solo Ball, I'm Isaac Fleischer, and this has been another iHoopsFL interview. Peace out, guys.